Would it surprise you to know that I am an introvert? I really am. I'm very quiet. My wife says I have resting bitch face all the time. People sometimes ask her, like, is he mad at me? Because I'm like this all the time. And I'm very animated on the lives, and I'm very active in the group. But in person, I'm kind of a little bit more aloof, and I definitely like my alone time, which is why I work all by myself in my house, in my basement. Leave me alone, right? Somebody mentioned the other day, oh, I missed your live because somebody popped by and I had to go out, and I was like, nah, that does not happen at my house. Nobody pops by my house. I need 3-day written notice that you're coming, and I need to know by text that you're on the way, and when you get here you need to call me from the driveway. Don't just knock on my door. That doesn't happen here. I'm not a big fan of that. But anyway, so I am an introvert, but I like to say I'm an introvert with extroverted tendencies. And I just wanted to talk about that because I know that a lot of people have been saying that here I am, this artist, and I have to put myself out there. How do I do that when I can't stand putting myself out there? So I have some tricks that I do for me. But I also just wanted to kind of talk about the theory of that in general, and then I'll get to all the comments. So, all right. It's hard to people sometimes, right? This is what some people mentioned. It's hard for you to people. It's hard for you to be around people, peopling, right? People as a verb. And the crowds and the noise and things like that. There's some overwhelm involved. For me, it's more I'm just annoyed by things. Like, leave me alone. I like my quiet. A lot of noise. When I was a kid, when my kids were little, they used to have parties at Chuck E. Cheese all the time. I could not stand being there. The noise and the constant, it was like ringing in my ears, and it was just drove me insane. But it wasn't so much that I was introverted because I just stood in the corner and didn't talk to anybody. But it was just like I couldn't handle that noise, so I hear that too. But here's my theory on this, and it's taken me a while to get up to that. I apologize. I don't think that that's your job, and I think I could say that with some degree of authority, because I was lead singer of a rock band, and I still didn't feel like that was my job. I was not the David Lee Roth kind, like flamboyant and partying and out there in everybody's face. I was more like when I got on stage, I was like this. The way you see me do my daily fuels, this is me in action. Like, I get to this point where it's like I have to gear up for it, and then I let it all out. That's the performance, and I mean it. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And then as soon as it's over, I'm like, and I'm back to being quiet and resting bitch face. So, but I don't think you're required to if you're a painter or a sculptor or like Hector makes those amazing sculptures and things with metal. I don't think that you're required to also be the spokesperson for it. I think that your art can be the spokesperson. It comes from you. You are the art. I say that a lot, right? You are the art. But I don't think that you are the spokesperson for the art. I think that the art can speak for itself. And maybe in a way that's why we create art, to express the things that we don't like to express verbally or in person and stuff. It's just a way to share what we're thinking and feeling without having to deal with people, right? If you're extroverted and you just like crowds and being around people, then good for you. Then absolutely go out and do it. You can, I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that if you're introverted and you feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me, I don't think that there is, Sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of you. I do that too, right? I think that you're allowed to disengage. I'm going to look down a lot today because my notes were all over the place on this one. It's a mess. So that's not, usually I have like words that just pop out at me and I can see them in my periphery. But this one I have like little tiny things scribbled in the margins. So I have to look down to really see it. But the way that I see it is I think you're allowed to disengage, and I think that you are the message, not so much the messenger. All right. And I just also wrote, your job is creation, not presentation. So these are just some things that I came up with there to feel better. But I was talking to my wife, Laura, about this today. This was actually, she reminded me to do this one because I had forgotten to. And because she was talking about how she's like me too. Like sometimes, especially if something happens in your life and you just need time to sort of like shut things down and not be on social media so much, then have you ever found that there are some people who then kind of drift away from you? People that you thought were like close, social media close, and then suddenly you come back to it and they don't want to know you, you know? And so we were kind of talking about that, and she was like, is there something wrong with me? That now, we were talking about specifically the two people that independently, when she took a break from social media, when she came back, they don't interact with her at all, and she doesn't understand why. And I was like, I don't know. I think some people just need that constant interaction, and when they don't get it from you, all of a sudden, they have to go get it from somebody else. I don't really suffer from the problem where I care if somebody's interacting with me or not. I have a couple of very close friends that I see personally, and one of them I've never met in my life in person. My buddy Landon. We met on Facebook when I was running my old group. He was running another group, and we just became close friends. And we do a weekly mastermind call every Friday. Now, if I didn't have a scheduled call with him, I probably would talk to him once or twice a year because that's just how it goes with me. And it's not that I don't like him, or it's not that I don't like anybody else, but it just ends up that I get very focused on my business and my life and my family and what I'm doing, that I don't really, I'm not so outgoing that I'm not a social butterfly where I got to see my friends all the time. I've never been that way my entire life. And so I would say he's one of my closest friends in the world, and I've never met the man. I've never shook his hand, nothing, right? And sometimes I joke with him that I don't even believe he exists. I think he's just a picture on a screen that my mind has made up so that I can talk to myself without feeling like I'm insane. And then I have another really close friend who his name is Tony, and he and I were best friends since we were 2 years old. He lived next door to me when we were little, and then he moved away when we were 11, and then we didn't see each other till we were pretty much around like in our 30s, right? And now, and we've remained close friends since then. So, and him, I actually work on seeing a lot, but I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. Sorry, because I had something that I wanted to talk about. When I was when I was the lead singer of a rock band. Rock star, right? I was the lead singer of a rock band, and I would get up on stage, and I loved it. I loved doing it. I loved doing this. But it would be like where I'd have to gear up for the show, and I wouldn't talk to people. I would, if we were at a bar or a club or wherever we were playing, I would get to the place, and I would be quiet in the corner for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I would have fun. I wasn't like mean to people. I'd say hello. I'd do the things, but I wasn't like loud and partying and stuff like that. I didn't care to be, but the other thing was that I was a singer, so I didn't want to be screaming, talking to everybody over all the loud music and then have to get up on stage with a sore throat. But then even after the show, I wasn't much of a big partier. Like I didn't need to be I'd hang out and have a drink or do some things, but I didn't need to be the front man when we were just hanging out at a bar. I was the front man on stage. It was a performance. It was my way of getting my voice out there, literally, but also figuratively. And then afterwards, I just shut it back down. And I didn't need to be that. I was just very happy being who I am. So I think that if you're feeling introverted, that I would just ask myself, am I feeling bad about this because I think I should be some model that other people have in mind as like I should be out marketing this way, or I should be more outspoken this way, or I should be something that I'm not. And if the question is, should I be this thing that I am not? The answer is no. How can you be something that you are not, right? I think it's okay to have a little mystery around you even. Look at Banksy, right? Like nobody even knows who he is. And he's this world famous artist that comes out with these things once or twice a year. And everybody marvels at them and nobody knows who it is. So I just think that we don't have to put so much pressure on ourselves to be these outgoing, flamboyant people if we aren't. Just make the art that's your art. That's what I would say. And with that, I'm going to come to the comments and see who's still here. So who we got? Ray and Mikey and Marsha says, great Great evening, Bobby. Great evening. It is a great evening. Thank you. Marsha, how are you? And Hector, hey, brother. Hey, man. How you doing? Good to see you. And Ray, you're so full of it. I saw you said that when I was saying something, and I knew what it meant at the time. And I said to myself, I'll remember that. Now I don't remember what I said. So, that's a thing that happened. Ray, you're a 3 with a 9 personality. Yes, this is you. 3s go out to the world and back into yourself. And that's what heart is all about. Yeah, like I like being by myself, and I like working alone, and all of that stuff. But I have this deep desire to be out there, Except I'm not really out there so much on like a one-on-one basis. I like being on the stage, and it's not because I want to keep people at a distance, because I feel like I'm creating real relationships here. You guys aren't an audience to me. Although, some of you are, because I don't know you, but the ones that I'm getting to know, I like, and I like the relationships that we're building here, and that's genuine for me. I don't dislike people, but I don't need to be like around them all the time. And if I'm not on stage performing, then I don't need to be the loudest, most flamboyant person in the room. I guess that's really what it is. It's not that I don't like being around people. It's that I don't feel the need to be the center of attention when I'm not performing. When I am performing, for example, like right now, I do my lives the way that I do them because I am the front man, and this is my thing, and I do it for 10 to 25 to 30 minutes a day, and that's it. The rest of the day, I'm very happy to have everybody else plaster their stuff all over the group, and let's fawn over you, and fawn over you, and fawn over you. I think that's wonderful. But when I'm doing my lives, I don't do interviews. I don't have the screen full of faces. This is my life. Get off my stage. And when I was the lead singer of the rock band, I didn't have people join us on stage and do things. People would say all the time, hey, can I come sing a song with you? No, this is my stage. Get your own stage. And that's just me. Hector says, Bobby, standing by your art, people want to hear the story behind it, how it was created. It's also a selling point. I have to go through this every time. Okay, now that I get. Okay, so you're at a place, you're displaying your art, and you're there. And people say, Hector, that's amazing. Tell me the story about it. Okay, so you got a decision to make. Do you want to be there to tell the story? I'm kind of making things up here because I don't know the background. It's like, why are you there in the first place? Are you able to just set it up and leave? Are you able to just set it up and be anonymous, like nobody knows who Hector is? Or are you able to be behind, put things between you? I'm not really sure. I don't have like solid advice here to tell you, Hector, I'm afraid, except to say that as an artist, I think, and maybe this is something that we have going for us as artists, is we can be a little bit weird. We already are weird, right? But why not take it to the max a little bit? That's Hector. He doesn't talk to people, or he doesn't come to these things. He just displays his work and leaves, or he's not gonna explain. I don't think that you are required to answer questions you don't want to answer. But I also don't know, are you like at an art show trying to sell it? Like, are you now the salesperson? Because then you're kind of self-defeating. But maybe then, my other question is, do you have to be the one there? Can you put your artwork up and have somebody else do that part for you? We aren't always the best person to do everything that we need to do for our business. So I have a lot of questions about what you said, Hector, and I don't know which direction to take it in. But I'd be happy to talk more about this if you give me more. Mikey says, I was also the lead singer frontman of a rock band in the 70s. Very high energy on stage, but low key before and after. Yeah, sounds exactly like me. These days I must be alone to create. Yep. But I feel the need to go out and get inspiration from people and life situations, both positive and negative. It's a tightrope walk. Yeah, I like the days that I get out of the house. I'm very happy most days to just be here and do my thing and be left alone. But, I have kids and a family, and we like to go do things. And sometimes I like to go out and, see a friend or a buddy or something like that. But I'm not the guy that goes bowling with the guys bowling. I'm not the guy who goes like to the bar with the guys every Friday night. Like that's just not me. And I don't even have the guys to go do that with. I was in a fraternity in college and they're all like friends and stuff like that. I see them once every 10 years. It's like I never see them anymore. But sometimes I do like to get out, and if I am going out, I usually segment intend that I'm going to use it as a day to sort of let my brain settle from the minutia of work and maybe open it to the possibilities of new things I can create. I like to think of it that way. Especially if like we take the kids to the city, or like I live on Long Island, so to the west we have New York City, amazing, and to the east we have the forks of Long Island. If you're not familiar, it's very rural out there. On the South Fork is the Hamptons, which is really cool, and on the North Fork is very rural and farmland and stuff like that. So we'll go out there for apple picking or pumpkin picking in the fall, and no matter which way we go, there's somewhere amazing to go, and it's very cultural. So wherever we go, I'm always thinking, today I'm going to, open my mind and heart to like get inspiration for some new creative thinking, and that's how I approach that. Hector, dressed in my steampunk clothes, I created a character that helps me a bit with extrovert. That's really neat. That's really, really cool. How far would you want to take that? That was Hector, by the way. How far would you want to take that character? Like, can you just be a character? Does the character need to speak? Does the character need to, can you make the character what you want it to be to the extent that you want it to be it, but still work for what you need to accomplish? Again, I'm not sure if you're trying to make sales or if it's just a display thing. But, does your character need to speak? Does your character need to interact so much? I don't know the answer to that. But at least maybe dressed as the character, you can be as weird as you want to be, and people will still think it's pretty cool. If people have a lot of questions, maybe you can answer them with literature that you hand out. You don't have to talk. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas without knowing all of the details. But let's see. Ray says, it's hard to discover what you really are. We are told by so many artists that we must be this or that, and it takes so much to know how to manage yourself to make sure you are happy with it. It really does, right? Especially on social media, again, where it's like we're just so used to looking at other people and what they do. And I'm coming into this from entrepreneur land where, oh my goodness, there's so much, the grass is greener on the other side. You look at these people and they're like, I made $50,000 in an hour because I sold this course that I made in 5 minutes. And it's just like, what? How did you do that? Right? And you're always so like, what am I doing wrong? How I should be doing what this one's doing. And no, I should be doing what that one's doing. And it's like, you're always chasing the golden goose. And I can just imagine that even outside of entrepreneur world in art, where you're looking at like, I make this art and I present it here and I'm traveling to bring it there. And I go to these shows and I do these things. And it's like, what's wrong with me? Well, the answer is nothing's wrong with you. Anytime people put things on social media, they are only putting their best foot forward. They're embellishing it wildly. Nobody's social media profile is the truth. It's just what they want you to see. Except for the people who whine a lot because they want everybody's attention. But that's a different story. That's not what we're talking about. But you hear what I'm saying, right? That it can get very difficult for you when you're comparing yourself to other people. So I try not to do that. And my advice to you would be, don't do that. Marcia says, over time, I've had to reinvent myself from an introvert to an extrovert in business. However, I love my alone time. Yeah, if I have to be, I'm lucky. If I have to be talking to people, I can. I don't have a problem with it, especially since I'm in business. I'm in sales. I talk to business owners and stuff. If I have to go to a meeting, I don't have a personal issue with that. It doesn't bother me so much. But if I don't have to, I don't. I really would prefer not to. And even on the days that I have to, I'm moan and groan about it. I don't want to go to this thing. I'd rather just stay home and do my thing. But yeah, so if you can find a way to be more extroverted, even as a caricature of yourself, then maybe that's a way you can do it. Ray says, yes, Hector, that's who Megan is for me. Yeah, right. Look at Ray. Weird is good, says Hector. It is good. Let's see what it says. Good point to possibly have someone to share on my behalf. I'm writing that idea down. Thanks. Okay, good. Yeah, there's no reason that you have to be the spokesperson for your work. You could have somebody else do it. Yeah, and I think that that's fine. Just like if you go to an AT&T store, the CEO of AT&T isn't there to sell you a phone. The kid who works behind the counter is, so why do you have to be the one that's always representing your art personally? Like I wrote here, your job is the creation, not the presentation. And Ray says, we need a front man who loves to talk. He used to hate it when someone would look at a hand-tooled wallet I made and they'd say, oh, I can get one at Walmart for half that price. Oh, I know. It doesn't matter what you do. There's some schmo that always thinks that, I used to hear that, not that websites are the same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about like handcrafted, one-of-a-kind pieces of work. But even in like when I would do websites for clients, I'd hear all the time like, oh, my accountant's son makes those now. And I was just like, oh, okay, whatever, And it's like, there are always going to be people who don't get it. They just don't get it. And you can't win them. So I don't even try anymore. But, the idea there, though, if you have we need a front man. Well, who's we? I'm not exactly sure what your situation is there. But I'm guessing like you're at a place and you're displaying your stuff. Yeah, it could be really frustrating. I agree with you on that. Well, I feel like I'm just rambling my answer to that one because I'm just repeating myself. But I guess that's it. That was the last comment. And hey, thanks so much. I'm not sure what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. I have more things on that list. I had that post that a lot of you gave me suggestions the other like a week or 2 weeks ago, and I still have a good number of post ideas for Daily Fuel on that. So I'm going to go revisit that and find something tomorrow. Otherwise, sometimes if people ask questions during the day, that's usually a good spark. Sometimes somebody will ask a question in the group or post something in the group, and it'll just ding, a little light bulb goes off in my head for an idea. So I'm always looking for that. Don't be afraid to suggest things for Daily Fuel or The Awesome Thing at any time. You can post it in the group. You can message me. If you message me and we're not Facebook friends and I don't respond, it's because I didn't know that I got a message. I check every once in a while, but I've missed people's messages, and for that I apologize. All right, guys, I'm going to go. You have a wonderful day or night or whatever time it is where you live, and I'm going to... resting bitch face, turn it off, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye.